Have you ever spent hours cutting a corset only for it to come out too tight, too loose, or completely different from what you imagined? I have been there, and I know exactly how frustrating that feels. But today, that changes. I'm going to show you how to cut 4 different types of corsets correctly, from the romantic sweetheart to the dramatic Basque waist, using simple, beginner-friendly techniques that will instantly level up your sewing game. And stay with me until the end, because I'm revealing the #1 mistake that ruins most corsets before the scissors even touch the fabric. You do not want to miss that. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. If you are passionate about fashion design, sewing, and creating stunning corsets from scratch, then you are absolutely in the right place. Today's tutorial is specifically designed for beginners and intermediate sewists who want clear, step-by-step guidance on cutting corsets that actually fit and actually look the way you envisioned them. We're covering 4 amazing corset styles today: the sweetheart corset, the straight-across corset, the Basque waist corset, and the off-shoulder corset. Each one has its own cutting technique, and once you understand the logic behind each style, you'll be able to apply these skills to any corset project you take on. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a tutorial. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with everyone's favorite, the sweetheart corset. This style is iconic for a reason. It features that beautiful heart-shaped neckline that frames and lifts the bust in the most flattering way possible. You'll find this silhouette on bridal gowns, evening wear, prom dresses, and red carpet looks constantly, and once you know how to cut it, you'll understand exactly why designers keep coming back to it. Here's how you cut it. First, take your accurate body measurements: bust, under bust, waist, and torso length. Accuracy here is non-negotiable, so take your time. Next, draft your basic bodice block using those measurements as your foundation. Then locate and mark your bust point clearly on the pattern. This is the most important reference point for getting that sweetheart curve right. Now, starting from each side seam at the bust level, draw your sweetheart curve smoothly downward toward the center front, creating that signature dip in the middle. Use a curved ruler or a French curve tool to keep the lines clean and symmetrical. This is where most beginners rush and end up with uneven curves. Finally, add your seam allowance, typically about 1 centimeter all the way around before you cut. The sweetheart corset is truly perfect for bridal wear, formal dinner gowns, and any occasion where you want to make an entrance. Would you wear this style? Let me know in the comments. Moving on to our second style, the straight-across corset. Now, if the sweetheart is romantic and feminine, the straight-across is sleek, clean, and effortlessly chic. This corset features a flat horizontal neckline that runs straight across the bust, giving it a modern architectural quality that works beautifully in both casual and high-fashion contexts. Here's how to cut it. Start by drafting your basic corset block the same way you did for the sweetheart measurements first, always. Then, decide on your desired neckline height. Do you want it to sit higher on the chest for a more modest look, or right at the bust line for a bolder effect? Or mark that point on both the left and right sides of your pattern and then draw a clean, straight horizontal line connecting them. Use a ruler, do not freehand this. A crooked straight line is one of the most noticeable errors on a finished corset. Next, mark out your boning channels. These are the vertical lines where your steel or spiral bones will be inserted, and they are what give the corset its structure and lift. Space them evenly across the pattern and add your seam allowance before cutting. This style is incredibly versatile. I've seen it used in structured tops, editorial fashion shoots, and even elegant office wear when styled correctly. Have you seen a straight-across corset styled as a top before? It's honestly a whole look. Now here is where things get really exciting, the Basque Waist corset. This is the corset that turns heads. It's defined by its pointed waistline at the center front, which creates an incredibly dramatic, elongated hourglass silhouette. When you see a wedding gown or a red carpet look with that sharp V dipping below the natural waist, 9 times out of 10, that's a Basque construction underneath. Here's how to cut it. Start with your standard corset block. Then at the center front of your pattern, extend the hemline downward, typically between 5 and 10 centimeters below the natural waist, depending on the drama level you're going for. From that extended center point, draw diagonal lines that angle upward toward the side seams, creating your V shape. This is the move that defines the entire look, so take your time and draw it symmetrically on both sides. Now, blend all your lines smoothly. Where the V meets the side seams, this is called a transition curve. And getting it smooth is what separates a professional-looking corset from a homemade one. Sharp, abrupt angles here will show on the finished garment and affect how it sits on the body. Add seam allowance, mark your boning channels. The basque typically needs more boning than other styles to maintain that pointed shape, and you're ready to cut. This style is commonly used in wedding dresses, burlesque costumes, and dramatic evening wear. It is stunning. Do you think you'd attempt a Basque waist corset? I really want to know. And our final style for today, the off-shoulder corset. This one is all about elegance and highlighting one of the most beautiful parts of the body, the shoulders and collarbone. The neckline sits just below the shoulder line, creating a wide open look across the chest that is both romantic and powerful. Here's how to cut it. Start with your basic corset block as your foundation. Then, mark your off-shoulder neckline. You want this to curve gently from the front, sweeping across the chest and dipping slightly toward the sides to frame the shoulders naturally. A common mistake here is cutting the neckline too low too quickly, so make small adjustments and test on a toil that's a test garment made from cheap fabric before committing to your final material. Shape the upper edge carefully so it sits securely without sliding down. This is critical for an off-shoulder style because, unlike other corsets, there's no shoulder strap to rely on. The structure of the boning and the precision of the neckline cut are what keep the garment in place. Add boning channels at the side seams and center front for maximum support, and make sure your seam allowance is consistent all the way around the neckline before cutting. This style is gorgeous for proms, weddings, engagement shoots, and summer events. It photographs beautifully, and it gives even the simplest fabric an elevated couture feel. Okay, I promised you the #1 mistake that ruins most corsets, and here it is: cutting without a toil first. Every single cutting error I've talked about today, uneven curves, wrong neckline placement, a basque point that's off-center, all of these are caught and corrected at the toil stage before you cut into your good fabric. Skipping the toil is the fastest way to waste expensive material and hours of your time. Beyond that, here are the other big mistakes to avoid. Taking inaccurate measurements, even half a centimeter off across multiple seams, adds up to a corset that doesn't fit. Forgetting seam allowances, your pattern and your finished garment will be completely different sizes if you skip this step. Drawing sharp, jagged neckline curves instead of smooth, flowing ones, this affects both the look and the comfort of the finished piece. And finally, ignoring proper bust point placement, especially on the sweetheart style. If your bust points aren't marked and your curve doesn't peak at the right place, the entire neckline will sit wrong on the body. Avoid these mistakes, and I promise your corsets will start looking professionally made every single time. And that is how you cut 4 different types of corsets like a professional fashion designer. From the romantic sweetheart to the sleek straight across, the dramatic Basque waist, and the elegant off-shoulder, you now have the foundation to tackle all of them with confidence. Which corset style are you going to try first? And which style would you love to see a full sewing tutorial on next? Drop it in the comments. I read it every single one, and your suggestions genuinely shape what I make next. If this video helped you, please give it a big thumbs up, share it with a fellow sewist who needs it, and subscribe for more fashion design and sewing tutorials every week. I'll see you in the next video. Keep creating, keep sewing, and remember, every expert was once a beginner. You've got this.